What's up, ICB Army? We are back with another Taboo Talk. And guess what? He's here. It's Derek. We've been talking about this entire time. We told you he was real. I know his name sounds a little white, Derek Milton, but who would have thunk it? So today we are going to be talking about, obviously because we have Derek, which hopefully we'll have Derek on frequently. We're going to be talking about how Jose and I met Derek a little bit and the stories of when we all worked together, which was a fun time and a terrifying time at the same time. Time. So, we all met at Title Boxing Club in downtown Fort Worth.
I actually met him at the other one.
Cedar Hill.
No.
Mansfield?
No, it was the other one by Bedford.
Oh, City View.
City View. Yeah,
that's
I met
right.
him at City View.
Because you met Derek after I did.
Yes.
Yeah. Because where they originally had Derek, so the people we worked for had like multiple locations. And I remember, fuck it, I'll say his name, I don't give a shit. David, the owner, was like texting me one time. He was like, hey, I know you need trainers over there. And I got this guy at Mansfield. You know, people just aren't liking him and stuff like that. And I was like, interesting sim to me. And then I meet you, and in walks a 6'4" black man. I'm like, oh, in fucking old white people town Mansfield. Go figure, they wouldn't be doing well. And sure enough, he became like was the best trainer at our downtown Fort Worth and City View locations. Absolutely killing it. And that's how we met. And just like that first day, like you and I talked for like 10 minutes. I was like, we're gonna be friends.
No, what's crazy about that is I met you at Cedar Hill before that. Like,
did we?
Way before that. And I was like, yeah, that dude's cool. You know, we spoke for like 20 minutes.
Were you training there, or was it?
I was training. I trained at all of them. And he came. You came there to pick up something one time.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that was actually our first encounter, and I was like, "You're cool," because somebody had said something negative. But I don't know who said it, and I don't remember what they said. But
there was a lot of people that said negative things about
Travis.
Yeah.
I always said you were like a douche and narcissistic and all this other bullshit. I'm like, no, he's not at all. You know. Yeah. But that was my initial impression, and then I met you, and then you were cool.
But the amount of people I can't explain. The amount of people that have like met me, and then they talk to me and they're like, "Oh, you're not a douchebag at all." And I'm like, "Why'd you think I was a douchebag?" And they're like, "Oh, I saw your Instagram."
What the fuck?
And this is back when I was bodybuilding. And I was like, "Oh, that explains a bit." I was like, "Yeah, it's just that's how I make money." So that's my side gig. And if I hadn't have made thousands of dollars from social media because of personal training clients and like literally, I remember one time I posted one photo of me in prep where I was just like less than 3% body fat. I had like 6 people hit me up and be like, yo, can you like get me to where you're at? And I'm like, here are my rates. And like 4 out of the 6 signed monthly deals with me. And I'm like,
cool.
Awesome. That's great. And it's like, if I didn't get PT clients or I had to promote my like boxing classes or whatever off of it, I would not have social media because like it's only an avenue for me to promote, advertise, and make money.
I mean, that's it.
That's
what it's turned into.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how you sell a bunch of your art and shit too. So, we all worked together, and it was fun as fuck, and we also had some batshit insane times. And I think, we told the stories about the guys masturbating outside of the homeless dudes.
We made it quite a bit of those.
Because were you teaching that one day where it was me and I went outside and kicked him in the ass?
No,
or was it Daniel?
It was Daniel. I had the class after him.
That's right. And then everybody, we were like, yo, you're not going to believe the wild shit that just happened, son.
The dude laying on the floor. This is wild.
Yeah.
It happened twice, didn't it?
Oh, it happened twice there and then once with Jose.
Once to me.
Because one dude was on the actual window.
He was the one who was perched up. That's the one I like chased him out there and he fell down and I booted him in the fucking ass.
And then other dude laid on the floor.
I didn't know about that.
Like he was just laying?
I think I'd been told about that one. I wasn't there for that one though.
There was some wild stuff that happened. Some homeless dude walked in with like a cover over his head, and he just revealed himself. And I'm like, bro, if you don't get the fuck out of here, I'm about to beat your ass. There was one time Jacob and I were sitting there, and this homeless guy, he's walking with a purpose, right? He's walking confident. He's just walking up, and he flings open the door, and he just starts walking to the bags, and we're like, yo, where you going? And he was like, oh, I'm about to do some work. And we're like, who the fuck are you? Like, nah, dog, you got to get out. The craziest one, so I don't know if you may have told you this story. I don't know if I told you this one. So when I came on back when Rants owned it. Jesus Christ, brain damage. Back when Rants owned it, my first day there, the girl that was supposed to train me just left and like never showed back up again. And so I'm sitting at the front and I see this behemoth of a woman stumbling across the street.
And I'm sitting there at the computer with my hand covered just so she can't see my mouth. And I'm going, oh, fuck, no. And she's just like stumbling, and she like stops in the middle of the road, and she starts leaning one way, and I was like, yes. And then she stumbles right back towards the door, and I was like, oh, shit. Comes in. She's wearing a muumuu. Do you know what a muumuu is?
Oh, yeah.
A muumuu is like, it looks like a dress t-shirt, but it's very thin, so you can see a lot. No bra on. This woman opens the door, stands on the doormat, and just starts looking at the ground, and I go, can I help you? And I just hear, opens her mouth big, so I'm like, oh, is she gonna yell at me? And then I just hear, and I'm like, ¿Qué pasa, wait, what? I don't, and I'm sitting there and I just like, look, I don't know what to do. Because like, dealing with crazy people is different. You know? You don't want to be a dick to them, but you also don't know how to handle the situation. And so I just kind of go back to looking at the computer, and like my phone is like sitting face down, and I'm just like slowly reaching over, like fucking with the keyboard, like trying to tilt it up to start recording. This woman then takes the muumuu off.
Oh my god.
Oh, I would have
holds it in her right hand, and I'm just going, is this fucking happening right now? Takes muumuu off, holds it in her hand, leans to the right, puts it back on, stands there, and I'm like, in shock, because I don't know what to do. Reaches under it to scratch her left shoulder, right tit pops out, and I'm just like, I don't, whatever. Puts it back on, turns around, leaves. And I was like, what the I don't
That's a no for me, Pam.
know how you deal or what I should have done in that scenario, but it worked itself out. Yeah. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's a no for me.
We had,
Probably threw something at her.
See, and the first class that I took, and I think you were the one that told me about, like, hey, if you're going to sell this, you're going to be able to,
you gotta take the product.
You gotta take the product.
Yeah.
I took his class.
Oh, really?
At City View, and it was a kickboxing class. And it was the last class of the day. And we would talk, but he was always in and out. As soon as the class was over, all right, man, whatever, he was gone.
He had like 1,000 PTs on top of shit.
I mean, yeah, So he was always, as soon as the class was over, he was gone. I took his class, completely kicked my ass.
Oh, yeah.
I was so winded that I would mess up the kicks so that I can, like, slow down, catch my breath.
The first class I had you take was a kickboxing class?
Yes, because
I'm
it was
an
the last
asshole.
No, it was the last class of the day for whatever day
we
were there.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a class today.
Okay.
And then I took his. I was so winded in like the first fucking round that I slowed down and I was like, okay, I gotta catch my breath. This is how I knew this guy was gonna be a cool cat. He came up to me and started teaching me like where to plant my feet.
Yeah.
I was so I don't know if you remember this. I was so winded that I would continue to mess up so that I can catch my breath, and he didn't give up on me. Like, he sat there for like 2-3 minutes teaching the class and then still telling me like where. And I was still trying to just catch my breath because I was like 300 pounds at the time, and I couldn't even throw a kick properly.
Yeah.
But I was so winded from the actual just the movements of everything that I would just sit there.
Well, that's why he's such a good coach and why he's my boxing coach. Because like, there's times where like he'll give me a fucking like 22 punch combination, and I'll get like halfway through it, and I'll get frustrated to where I'll just be like fuck, and I'll like start headbutting a bag, and he's just like, stop. We're gonna start at this point. Do these 4. Now we're gonna do these 4. Now we're gonna do these 4. Now do these 6. Now do these 6. Now put them all together. Like, he's so fucking good at what he does. Then, God, this just sounds like a Derek dick sucking fest right now.
My bad, you know.
Why I truly believe he is the best boxing instructor in Texas. Zero fucking question.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's just so goddamn good at it, and is just flawless with what he does.
Also, I made the mistake of wearing the bodysuit against him.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that video.
Yeah.
That's one of the funniest
I actually
things.
I found a video of you hitting the inspirational speaker with the bodysuit.
Please tell me you dug in on that dude.
He hit him pretty good.
I not tried to take it easy on him. He was
a bitch.
So
that's another story.
Bro,
that's
wow. I did drugs.
Were you there for that meeting?
Dude, Jacob was punching me in my ribs because I was just audibly laughing. So to preface this, we had this issue where the first guy who owned this thing while we worked there was a complete another fucking moron. He wouldn't buy toilet paper for the fucking stores, anything like that I was buying toilet paper with my money. And he was like giving me sales goals. And I like sent this long email that he never talked to me after that until he sold, about like, you're giving me these sales goals when people can't come into the gym and wipe their own ass. Like, how do I know more about business than you and I'm 22 years old? And he didn't talk to me until the day he was like, yeah, I sold it. But people were literally asking me whenever they found out he was selling them, they're like, are you going to buy them? And I was like, are you going to front me the cash to buy these things and then I'll run them the way they need to be ran? But so then we had this other guy come in. Very
yeah, just hitting them.
That's amazing. Very ambitious younger guy, but it was one of those things that the gyms were like doing better, but he felt like they weren't doing better quick enough because he got bamboozled by the previous owner where he wasn't getting the right numbers updated to him. And so while we're working there, and all of the gyms are starting to do better and making more money every single solitary month by like $1,000, $2,000 every single month.
Because we had a good team towards the end.
We had a great team.
Like, we had a really good team.
Like City View was the one that was like struggling the most, but even for what it was with the lower rent we had in that unit, it was increasing by $800 to $1,000 every single month reoccurring revenue. Downtown Fort Worth in between $1,800 and $2,000 every single month. We were doing good, but he wanted everything to pretty much be making each gym be making like $1 million a year immediately after he took over. Like after a month, him and his in-laws were like, we don't understand why they're not making more money. And we're like, no, they are. But you gotta understand this takes time to rebuild this shit. So the owner decided, he came up to me. I don't know how he approached y'all with it. He came up to me and he was like, yeah, I found this guy. He's a really smart sales guy and he's gonna help us out. And I was like, cool. What's he gonna be doing? He's like, oh, he's gonna like help us and like teach some of our sales stuff and he's gonna help me with some like setting up events. And I'm like, cool. What did he invest? He goes, well, no, he doesn't like invest in anything. He just came in and he was like, I want to help you out. And I'm like, so you're telling me this guy walked in looking for a job? And he was like, no, he wasn't looking for a job. He was just looking for, I was like, David, what the fuck? What are we talking about here? He's not an investor. He hasn't put any money in. He just wants to help you. Little did I know he was on the payroll and David didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, he was on the payroll.
So
he was taking a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. So we got pulled into a meeting. This owner was very gullible. If you like bullshit him even a little bit, he would pretty much just be like, I'll throw whatever money you at.
And he played it very well because he would act like he was this business guru.
Yeah, but he just listened to business podcasts, so he knew some terminology and that was it.
Because I think on the first time I met him, he handed me a book to read.
Yes, he's one of those people.
I never read it. And he still thought that like the way that I approached things were smart. But I've been around businesses enough to just realize like what's
you would manage
going
businesses. I'd manage businesses. We knew what the hell we were doing.
Because I wasn't introduced until to this inspirational speaker. I'm not gonna say his name. Fuck that guy.
I don't even
and we'll go into that in a little bit. But I got introduced to him at the meeting because we showed up and dude just walked. You weren't there, were you?
Which meeting, at Mansfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
When they first introduced him to us?
Yeah.
They bring, and I didn't mean to take this from you, but they brought every single employee from these gyms.
All 4 locations.
All 4 locations into this place.
So there's like 30 of us in the room.
30, 35. And we just see this random dude in jeans and fancy shoes walking around between the bags.
Oh, and while that's happening, the owner and his wife are like setting up video cameras. I'm like, why are y'all setting up video cameras?
And out of nowhere, they call us back and like, hey, huddle up. This dude just disappears, puts on a fucking blazer, and walks through the doors like goddamn Ric Flair before he starts speaking about how much drugs and to stay away from drugs. And
hold on.
Travis is over here laughing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about loud.
So, because here's the thing. With motivational speakers, 99% of them are completely full of shit. Whenever Gary Vee's just like, do your dreams, start your business, do this. I'm like, cool. Tell them how. Are you not telling them how? You're telling them to believe in yourself? Shut the fuck up. Like, I don't buy into any of that shit. So, first off, this guy, Jose really made that way more tame than it sounded. This guy walks in, and he's pacing back and forth, and he looks angry, and he looks like he's Mike Tyson.
But he quickly turned that.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, we walked in, and we're just looking at each other like,
and he's
why
calm.
are we here?
He's like fucking
why
around.
is he
He's
sitting
fucking
there
around
fucking
his
texting.
phone,
Yeah.
like act like he's busy. Then the owner's like, this is yada yada, and he walks up and he goes, I did drugs! And we're like, what
We're just
the
in there
fuck
laughing in the corner.
is happening? So I'm with our boy Jacob, who was my assistant manager, and he's sitting there, and I'm just like,
That's exactly what he was doing.
And that loud. So everybody else is quiet and Jacob's like fucking punching me like in the ribs.
We're
like
sitting there just like elbowing him.
And I'm sitting there and this guy's like, you know, I did this and I left this 6-figure job and I'm just, it's so clear he's full of shit that I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I'm dying. And
he's not even hiding it. Like,
I'm really not. And because it's so ridiculous to me. And the second I saw that, I was
like the fact that they brought this ex-drug user.
Who knows if that's even true?
Yeah.
Because that could be him self-grandizing himself.
And apparently he was this like superstar running back in high school. The most unathletic dude I've ever fucking
100%. Never done anything athletic
so uncoordinated. There's no way you're a top running back and you're that uncoordinated. And there's another story I could get into on the other thing, but they brought this dude to tell us to stay out of doing drugs.
Adults already. We're
all meeting. Adults, and we're all in the health industry. Like, we're all in the fitness industry telling us, like, don't do meth and cocaine. And we're just like, bro, we just did fucking pre-workout.
Like that's what he's talking about when we're
all sipping on bangs and shit.
Yeah, when we thought this guy was gonna come in and explain like, here's my grand business scheme that's gonna take these to the next level. And he started to talk about doing drugs, and he was like, I left a 6-figure job. I was about to get 7 figures to go and do this, and I'm like, no logical person would do that. You're so full of...
Because he wanted to help the community.
Was talking about he wrote a book and it was super successful. It had sold 2 copies on Amazon.
I Googled him and I couldn't find anything.
Nothing. He had a Twitter account with 20,000 followers. His last 10... And I started showing this to David. His last 10 tweets, 2 retweets, 1 like. And I'm like, David... Those analytics do not make sense. That's clear. He bought 20,000 followers, and his mama and his sister are retweeting his shit. Or he
bought that account from somebody.
Or he bought the account.
That's a huge thing right now. Is like social media influencers are
stealing
starting,
accounts and then
no. They'll start a secondary account, like a spam account, and then they'll just build up people and then just sell it for $20K, and it's got 100, 200,
So he most likely did some shit like that. Comes up and to where I'm having none of it from day one, and I think y'all were. Clearly saw.
I was on that.
Like Jacob kept telling me, he was like, "You gotta give him a chance." I was like, "Jacob, I love you and I know you're open-minded. This guy's 100% full of shit." And like, he comes up to me one time and he was like, "You know, I've got your back. I want to help you out. You know." And David doesn't know if he's gonna keep you. And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And this is like months before I left, and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? He and I just went to Kansas together. Like, what are you talking about, dude?" He's like, "You know, he starts telling me a different story than the meeting where he was like, yeah, I was at this job, I was making 6 figures, and I was offered to be vice president of sales for this company. Google the company. It didn't exist after he talked to me about it. And he was telling me all this shit, and he was like, I can take you to that next level. And I was like, cool, how? And he goes, well, you know, I'm gonna sit here and like we're gonna go over it, and you know, if you just push through. And I was like, no, tell me what your business plan is. He's like, well, you know, David and I are working on that. And I was like, what is it? What did you tell David that made him want to bring you on to help? And he would not give me a straight answer. And I was like, you're fucking full of shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I just did not put up with that shit because I do not like those bullshit people.
Right before he came on, I was already basically unofficially running downtown because I was the only one working at the front desk.
Yeah, this is after I'd left.
That was after you had left. There was no manager. I was doing the inventory. I was doing the counts.
Yeah, because Kim was sitting at home in her apartment doing nothing.
She was supposed to be at the store.
She never was.
I was being included in all the manager meetings and this and that. And when I asked David, like, hey, man, are you going to make me manager or what? He's like, oh, we're bringing somebody in for that. Which was supposed to be Homeboy. But then he never went downtown. He never went downtown.
I saw him there one time, and he was talking about he made a call, and I checked the logs. He made one phone call.
Yeah.
For a sales call, and I don't know who it was to.
Yeah, no, it was... I'm pretty sure it was somebody that called the store.
Well,
like, it wasn't even anything...
Because then, when David brought this guy on, then he got bamboozled and brought in this woman named Kim, who literally would sit at her apartment where she lived 5 minutes away from downtown and did nothing. Literally did nothing.
She would just come in and check in on,
like that was it. She was doing...
Are you making calls? And I'm like, dude, I literally just go in here and, like, make calls all day.
Yeah, and we had this amazing... There was this amazing manager. Her and I were really good friends named Melanie at... Cedar Hill. She was great at her job, but she was like me. She saw the bullshit and she called Kim out on her bullshit. And David like screamed at her because Kim had just been blowing smoke up his ass to where like Jacob thought it was about to get physical. And this is a tiny 5'3" black woman, and this is a grown like a 25-year-old man that was a little overweight, and it was just like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? She's making good points, because she called me about it immediately. She was like, you need to get the fuck out. She was like, this is about to go downhill. And whenever he had brought in the motivational speaker, I was like, this place is fucked. They're fucked.
Yeah.
I was like, the second I saw this guy, and I was like, God knows how much money he's giving him, and they're fucked. Like, things were going very well, and you just screwed the pooch by trying to...
Yeah, because once he started coming down... Because towards the end of that, he started coming into downtown and supposedly build me up.
Yeah.
But I had already seen the writing on the wall. I knew that stuff wasn't going to work. So he started coming downtown, and he would tell me, like, hey, we're going to close the shop, and we're going to go walk and try to make corporate accounts. Sweet, let's do it. Let's go. What do we do? We got to dress up tomorrow? Never showed up.
Yeah.
Or he would sit in the back and on the computer or whatever while I'm making calls or wrapping people's hands.
I mean, one time he pulled me away and he tried to do this. Hey, I know, us black men and we from the hood. And
Did he say us black men? He was Mexican.
I don't know what he was. Leave me alone, dog. I'm not trying to be on that shit. I just want to work.
He told you from the hood?
I'm from the hood. I'm pretty sure you are too. Like, yeah.
Oh my
See, he assumed the same thing about me.
You see, like, I am from the hood. I didn't. Okay.
Jose's just like, I'm from Mansfield.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that was a whole and I'll talk about this. We were you were doing PT on the ring, and I think I was sitting on the edge, kind of just sitting on the top level, right? Kind of just.
I wish I had been here for this.
I had just wrapped somebody's hands. We had just put the class into it. Daniel
was there. Daniel
was teaching the class, and someone called. Someone called the phone. I didn't hear it. Music's loud. You know how Daniel's classes are.
Yeah.
Music's loud. I'm on the edge of the ring, and he's giving a class. We were all having fun. He picks up the phone. He can't figure out anything. He can't figure out the freaking price. He can't figure out when this and that. And instead of, I wasn't even on there. I was looking at the class. I was recording. Because, right behind the desk, there was that top shelf. I sat there like this because he was at reaching distance. And he can't figure it out. So instead of saying my name or even tapping my shoulder, he goes right next to my ear and starts doing this.
Ooh.
Bro, fuck no.
Yeah.
Just like trying to get my attention. I'm not a fucking dog, dude. You ain't gonna do that shit.
I don't like that shit.
So I walked over there and I said, hey, what's going on? Told me. I took care of it. Hung up the phone. And I came to him and personally...
I saw the whole thing, bro.
Personally, I was like, hey, man, next time just tap my shoulder. I'm not a dog. You don't have to...
It was so
snap
respectful.
My finger. It was respectful.
It was so respectful.
Dude, just... Boom! Head just... I don't even know what the hell he's talking about. Oh, you think I'm fucking being disrespectful, blah, 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 and this and that. He just starts screaming.
Ruin the whole vibe,
in
bro.
front of everybody. There's customers. There's members. He had a person working in there. Just going in there. I'm like, all right, dude. Like, and blah, blah, blah. Just because you're the hood, you ain't going to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
In front of everybody.
From the hood thing.
And I looked at him and I was
That's
like,
how you know he wasn't
dude,
from
I'm
the
from
fucking hood.
Mansfield. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I was like, if you want to get loud, let's go. And I started wrapping my hands. I was like, let's go then. And I started wrapping my hands and I put my gloves on and I waited for him. And then he asked me to go talk in the back. And I'm like, you know what? For me to be respectful to everybody else, I was like, let's go. It was a bad idea in my hand.
Yeah, you should have had a witness.
It was a bad idea. Nothing went down.
I know.
But in my mind, and when I realized that it was a bad idea, I walked off. I came out and I went to the desk.
And he approached me about it. It was like, can you believe that? I was like, what the fuck? Like, you blew up on him and he was being so... Like, I heard the way you said it. Like, it was so innocent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we go to the back and he started talking about, like, they were going to get rid of you and I'm trying to build you up and this and that. I'm like, dude, you haven't been here.
Everybody with that shit.
I'm like, are you serious? Like, I'm the only salesperson in this place bringing in sales.
So... That's because Homegirl's been talking to me a lot about psychology and what she's been studying and stuff. One of the things she told me about people who are manipulators is they always do that. They always make it sound like everybody's against you, and I'm the only one who's got your back.
Right.
I'm the only one who helps you. That's just clear-cut manipulation.
He started going through all that shit, and in the back he starts talking about, like, you may be from the hood, man, but you can't go on this flight. I said, dude, I'm from Mansfield. I grew up in Mansfield. The only crime I've ever seen in this is tax invasion. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Tax invasion.
And he was like, you can't. What did he say? You can't be emotionally driven.
But then you were just yelling in the whole room.
And I'm sitting there like looking at him and then looking at everybody else. And Daniel stopped. He stopped. He didn't stop the class, but he literally stopped midway to look back and see like what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
So I made eye contact with him. Then I made eye contact with him. And they were just like they were kind of frozen because like they didn't know what to do. But I noticed that he stopped his PT to kind of just like keep
Because Derek was about to have you back and about to
hell
shit
yeah,
out
I was about to get some of that too.
But then the whole thing happens, and I go teach a class at Cedar Hill, like a couple weeks later. No, the next day, and he completely ignored me. Cool, whatever, man. I'm a fucking professional. I don't have to do all that bullshit.
Yeah.
He was talking to it wasn't downtown. He was talking to someone about the kids class, the after school class.
His genius idea
of these wasted gloves that went nowhere. And somebody was teaching in class. Daniel might have been teaching in class, and he was doing side shuffles to the punches, right, side to side. His feet crossed and ate shit in front of everybody. And I started laughing. But I sat down with David and I was like, hey man, I'm telling you this out of respect. If he wants to take it to the hood, I can take it to the hood. Mm-hmm. If he wants to go and get physical, I told him, I said, I wrapped my hands, I put the gloves on, I waited for him to get in the ring. I was like, I don't know how to fucking box, but
no,
if he wants to go to the fucking hood, I'll take those damn gloves and start bare knuckles.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, man, I'll take care of it." Blah blah blah. You know, you don't got to do that. That was very unprofessional on his side. This and that. And I told him, I was like, "Hey, he's told me that y'all were getting rid of me." I was like, "If y'all want to get rid of me, just let me know so I don't waste your time and waste mine." He's like, "No, I don't know where that came from. I brought him here to help you so that you can take over eventually." I said, "Dude, I've already been taken over."
Yeah. I
was like, "I'm doing the inventory. I'm sending Kim what to order." I was like, "The only thing I'm not doing is setting the schedule, but I'm picking up classes." I said, "Y'all added 2 classes for me to take over. I was doing the last Friday classes, and he would come in, just do PTO, teach my classes." No, man, I'll take over. As soon as I walk to the front, homeboy walks in, goes straight to the to the back to talk to him, and then he comes over to me and like shakes my hand in front of David, and he leans in, he goes, I can't remember what the fuck he said. He said something like, you a snitch?
Really?
And I held on to his hand as he walked around. I was like, if you have a problem, let's solve it. I was like, because I already put it on the table. Like, you want to take care of this? I said, you want to take it to the hood? We can take it to the hood. And he, like, pulled away and walked out. And then that was it. That was the last time he came in.
Bro, no one even liked that dude. I don't understand.
I don't understand how that happened.
It was because Dave was so gullible. And I think y'all know this. I like most people, right? Here's how you know I don't like somebody. If I don't make eye contact with you and I stop talking, I don't fucking like you. And I'm probably looking at Jose and going, I don't like him. Fuck this guy.
Yeah, I don't think you needed to do that because like the crackling and shit, because you weren't hitting behind anybody.
No, I was.
He was like right up
laughing
front.
at
We
him.
were kind of in a circle, and he's just in there scuffing
And like everybody else is just kind of like looking around, like what the fuck is happening?
Desiree was there, and you. So she wanted to laugh, and once you started laughing, she.
I saw her chuckle one 2 times. I was like, "That's my girl."
And then I was trying not to laugh because you were sitting doing that, and I'm trying to look at him, and he can clearly hear you, and he's trying to ignore you by not looking over there.
Yeah. And it was just one of those things where it's like this guy was he was a fake it until you make it guy.
Yeah.
And it was clearly, and he didn't like when he got called on his bullshit.
So successful. He drove like a 2002 Lexus. Get the fuck out of
here.
He
kept trying to act like, oh, I make all this money and I make all this money doing public speaking.
Warehouse like clearance tracksuit.
And he kept saying
it wasn't even tailored. Like it was just it made no sense.
He kept saying, I quit a 6-figure job to be a public speaker, and I'm like, there's no video of you doing public speaking.
At all.
There's no video of it. You don't do this. You're a liar.
Yeah.
You're full of shit. And no, he wasn't from the fucking hood. That fucking little bitch.
Yeah, because when I told him if you want to take this to the hood, let's take it to the hood. If I said that to somebody from the hood,
you get your ass whooped pretty quick.
Dude, it's on.
It'd be swinging. It'd be swinging immediately.
He told me, he's like, oh, you can't be doing on that hood stuff. I'm like, dude, just because I'm Mexican, and that's the thing I told David. I was like, dude, that was freaking racist.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, he straight up called me out because I'm from the hood, because my name's Jose.
Yeah, I don't know what he was. Mexican. He looked some kind of Hispanic.
I think he was mixed.
I think he was too. I think he was half
white. Yeah. But he's just like, no, like, I'll take care of it, blah, blah. And that was the last time he was in after that whole thing. And I think he was scared because, like, I had mentioned, like, if I need to make a legal thing here, like, I can go ahead and do that if you're going to go, like, let me go. And then it just kind of went down.
I feel like... Go ahead, sorry.
And then it turned out he ended up, owing me a whole ass paycheck.
Yeah. I feel like David was cool, but he was an idiot, bro.
Yeah.
He's stupid.
Well, here's the thing is whenever he came in, He told me what he wanted to do, and he and I lined up. Like, we linked up mentally, and I was like, no, that's exactly what we need to do. But here was David's problem. It was never enough. The progress wasn't enough, no matter what.
Because we were bringing a lot of people, man. Because
we were doing great.
I was working like
45
hours a week, and all I did was either make phone calls or
the culture was great. Everything was good. If I can tell you, because I saw the numbers every month, we were making amazing progress every single solitary month.
And even after you left, that downtown. Yeah. Once I started, because after you left, they basically just kept me in downtown. Unless I needed a cover for somebody, I stayed in downtown. Yeah. But the environment that we built between the trainers and then everything else, because after a while, I started noticing like the classes were great. Yeah. But it's hard to focus on everybody when there's 20, 25 people in the class. Well, so I started throwing the bodysuit on, and I would make sure like to talk to the trainers. Hey man, you cool if I hit the back areas or whatever? I just let them punch the shit out of me.
Well, dude, then that's the thing.
The kick pads, the mitts.
I can tell you, besides the crazy shit that happened at the end where this guy went bankrupt because of the fucking stupid decisions he made and the stupid people he trusted when everything was going fine. That was the best time I have ever had working. Where we made lifelong friends doing that. I mean, you're one of my best fucking friends now, and it's because of that place. Yeah. I mean, the team I built at both those locations, it was gonna be successful as long as you just kept pushing at that steady pace. I mean, look at who we had. The three of us, Daniel, Jacob, Theron. Holly
was good.
Holly was a great teaching
exactly.
class,
like we had that perfect mix of everybody where every single trainer was
like
dope.
Too is we didn't just have like fitness instructors. We had people that were actually in like he had the experience. Yeah. Holly had you had the experience. Theron had the experience. The only person that was like an actual instructor was fucking
Daniel.
Me.
Oh well, no, and Daniel. But Daniel was that guy.
He had boxing experience, didn't he? Daniel?
He did.
Didn't he have some kind of like
somewhere?
He did some bag work and stuff.
Like in Canada or something?
Maybe. Mexico? I don't know. We'll have to ask him.
Mexico.
Like he had some kind of experience.
But
I was the
so
only one
personable.
that really didn't, other than just having the personality to be in front of people and then just learning from picking something from each one.
That was
because like especially Derek, I took a lot of his combinations from his classes and kind of just threw them in with everything else that I did.
Yeah. Well, and every single one of our classes was killer as fuck too. Like we had nothing but good trainers in there because
I did not, man. I used to hit the hell all the time in my class.
I was the pickiest person in the world when it came to hiring people for instructors and salespeople because I wanted the best people. I wanted the most personable people. Remember we had Christina up there.
Christina, yeah.
She had no sales experience. It was just because I knew her from theater, and I was like, this girl's got the personality that she can sell.
Where is she? She's cool as shit, man. She was funny as fuck.
She's hilarious, dog. I love that girl. I need to text her.
She married now?
She might have got married to that dude she was dating. I'm not sure. I need to hit her up.
So I started.
Did you ever date her?
Teaching.
No, she was just one of my really good friends.
I started teaching on accident.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd clap those cheeks.
Derek.
Dead ass. She had a little ass on her too, man.
Oh my god, that was like my little sister.
How old is she?
Fucking like a year younger than me. So okay, but here's the thing: is like, what was so dope about that place is everything worked so smoothly until that dude and Kim came along because we had our team that was like, dude, we all hung out all the time. Where we would go and watch fights all the time together. We would have parties together.
And we would do it downtown.
Like,
what's that place called? Our spot. No.
Oh, Asheem's. Yeah, Asheem's too. God,
I gotta go back. I haven't
been. They're gonna be. We're still working on stuff.
Let's fucking
go. They might be providing the cocktail hour at my wedding. They're gonna send somebody to start making.
Dude, that's terrifying to me because Asheem's definitely gonna get me fucked. Every time we go there, Asheem gives us sake, like for free.
And then every time somebody else comes,
they give us more sake.
And they'll just bring us a new.
And they just try to get Jose and I fucked up.
Yeah, we got fucked up.
Bro,
it'll kill you,
soon.
but
yeah, I can't go.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go. And
I mean, I can go.
We can eat and stuff. Yeah,
we gotta go soon.
Oh, I'm down for it.
Yeah, let's make. You going to do this week?
This weekend.
Let's do this weekend. There we go.
Saturday
okay, cool. We made plans. Well.
We gotta remind them 2 days.
We made plans
and then confirm 24 hours.
I'm gonna text beeper, your homegirl. I'm trying not to say names of people. Just
yeah, we dropped a lot of names.
What's the thing? We don't care. We're never gonna see David's ass again.
They gonna call us out.
And if he does, David, you owe me a lot of money, cuz. Yeah. You owe me a lot of money, cuz.
And that's where I flip shit that y'all were texting and like I was in the group chat and y'all straight up like I forgot who it was. Who was that little weird white dude? Will? Was it Will? Was that his name?
Charles, man.
Charles is like,
dude,
Charles
Charles
got gangster as
so
fuck.
funny.
Charles is like the nicest little, most awkward white guy. He could definitely be a serial killer. Not gonna lie.
Yes,
But
yeah,
he literally
dude.
texted like in the group chat that y'all were talking to me about this, and he was like, "I know where he lives," and everybody just like paused in the group
Oh,
text.
he moved as soon as that happened. He was gone.
he dipped out. He moved back to North Carolina or wherever
he's
the
from.
hell. Hick ass.
Yeah, he
shit.
owes me a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is so we'll get
I
into
work
fun
like-
stories in a second. The whole premise of this is don't be a gullible dumbass. Like if your business is doing well, ride it through. It's gonna take time. You're not gonna be a millionaire overnight.
Especially if the money's not yours.
Exactly.
Like, come
If
on.
it's your in-laws' retirement,
Idiot.
I didn't sign an NDA. I can say whatever the fuck I want.
I didn't sign it.
So, but don't be a gullible dumbass. And like, if you have a good team who's working well and you're making business and making money, keep pushing, keep doing things that work. Stop trying to intricate and make things too complicated to just get greedy and try to make so much more money immediately.
Bro,
Like,
it had
take your
grown
time.
so much.
It was doing
man.
so good.
And so many
And towards
people
the end,
were.
we were doing downtown was doing so good, man.
I know. We
So
were making good
we had
progress.
that what was it? We had the St. Patty's party. We had a Sheems that came out and brought sushi. Panther Island catered it and dropped off like a free keg.
We had like a whole church that was coming. I was doing that church class.
Oh yeah, you were. Dude, we were doing so good.
I don't understand that. It was shocking. I was like, what? Y'all shutting it down.
Dude, you know what was wild one time? You remember that guy that would bring in those kids that he was like, these kids were like in juvie and stuff like that? I think they were there for-
Yeah.
Were you there that time that like I went hard in the paint on those fucking kids?
Mm-mm.
So, oh no, so it was me, Daniel, Jacob, and maybe Theron. And so this guy brought in these kids on like a Saturday. And there was this one kid, his pants halfway down his ass, kept like shoving this big guy who was paying for these kids to come here. Like he did not need to do that. He was just a mentor. He was doing it for fucking free.
Mm-hmm.
And this kept shoving him. He's like, I can kick your ass. I can get in the ring and kick your ass. And Jacob comes over to him. He goes, you want to make a bet? You think you're tough, right? And the guy was like, yeah. And he goes, I'll bet you $100. And he slapped down 100. He goes, I'll bet you $100 you can't even hold your hands up the entire time through the first 2 rounds. And sure enough, Jacob gets in there in class. Daniel was teaching, and Jacob's like doing work next to him. And the kid starts dropping his hands. He was like, you lose.
Yeah.
And so that class leaves, and those kids kind of hang around with that guy. And the way that kid was talking to this guy who was trying to help him just kind of irked me. And so they like come and crowd up. It was 2 white kids, and this kid was black. That his pants down, his halfway down his ass. And I just like looked at Daniel. I was like, and Jacob standing next to me. And I was like, do you mind if I talk to him real quick? And he goes, go ahead. They need to hear it. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, first off, young man, I was like, is your ass available? And he goes, what? I was like, is your ass available? And he goes, the fuck you mean? Nah. And I was like, pull your fucking pants up then.
Yeah.
I was like, that came from people in jail letting other prisoners know my ass is available to get ran through. Is that what you want to portray? And he goes, and he just slowly pulled his pants up. I was like, secondly, that man right there would kick the shit out of you. I was like, so stop acting like you're going to box him. I was like, let me explain something to you. I was like, have you seen him? Pointing to Daniel, I was like, have you seen him being rude or a dick to anybody here? No. Pointing to Jacob, have you seen him be rude or a dick to anybody here? No. Have you seen me? No. I was like, I'm being hard on you right now because let me explain something to you. Real fighters, we don't talk shit to people. We've had our ego beaten down because we've had our ass beat before. I was like, I'm guessing you haven't. I was like, let me explain something to you. You were talking shit to Jacob. I was like, that boy would whoop your ass within a minute and beat your ass so hard down. I was like, you need to learn some fucking respect and realize you're not Billy Badass. And guess what? One day you're going to run into Billy fucking Badass. Yeah. And that's going to be a real wake-up call for you. And we were just like, did I see Daniel just like smiling over there? And he's just like snickering, and Jacob's just like, yeah. Hell yeah. And this guy, like, afterwards, he was like, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I was like, dude, people
what
just...
they need to do is just put some helmets on these goddamn kids and
Yeah.
just let them get their ass.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. If I was there, lucky I went there.
Jacob was saying that. Jacob was like, we can hop in the ring. Come on, let's hop in the ring.
I would have just
Let's hop in the ring. Jacob was literally like, I'll fight you with my left hand. And I was like, oh, Jacob's getting competitive, and I like
Jacob
this
would
shit.
just smash the shit with just like a quick jab every time to his nose.
Oh, he would have clowned him so bad. And that's the thing, for like Derek and I can tell you this, as people who are fighters, everybody thinks they want to be a fighter until the first time they get hit in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 90% of people drop off from that. So it's one of those things that's just like, be careful who you talking to and realize that like there's a stigma around fighters that we're like a bunch of pissy, like angry people. And it's like, that's not the case. I've met every fighter I've met with the exception of like 2 people who they got kicked out of their gyms were like the nicest people you would ever meet.
They're cool as
in your
fuck.
entire
Like all
life.
the boxers I meet, they're so cool, man. They're not egotistical at all.
Nah, it's because we get that shit beaten out.
It comes out.
Yeah, man, that happens. The first time I ever trained and this dude like kicked me in the face, I was like, what the fuck? And then this other dude where I was like, it was my first time fighting. I never sparred. I was 18. And so I was going way too hard. And this guy like hip tossed me and put me on the ground. He was like, if you don't soften up, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. And I was like, yes, sir. Because he was like 30 something too, man. And I felt like genuinely bad.
But before we end this, I have a very serious question because I've made this comment in like one of our first podcasts, and it has to do with the end card. And I talked about it. I talked about it, saying that the end card was not universal.
No, it is not.
And
that shit don't. It's not. You know what I mean? It's household to household.
That's what. See,
you know what I mean?
You gotta ask your black friend, man.
So
could you go into specific on?
Well, hold on. Before that, do you remember what you told me a couple weeks ago?
What happened?
So you and I had just gotten done training, and I forgot the word had gotten brought up, and you sat there and said the most profound shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Where you looked at me and you go, "I kind of just want you to call me it," and I went, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And you're like, "No, Sam used to call me it occasionally. Like he has permission. It's okay." He's like,
my nigga."
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, you can say it. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal because you probably said you were like my brother or something. I was like, you can say my nigga. You know, it's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Jose, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I just wanted him to kind of explain the end card because I had mentioned it in one of our podcasts, one of our first podcasts about it not being universal.
It is complicated. It's like if you're like a non-black person and you fuck with black people, you fuck with our culture, and you know what I mean. You're not saying it in a demeaning sense at all, or like write it down. You're not.
Notes.
You know, so because it gets complicated. It's like, because some people say it's like mock black people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where people, when they like,
it's context.
Yes, the context of it. It's what you're intending to like convey to that person. Are you
Yeah.
really saying like my brother, my nigga? Or are you saying my nigga? You know what I mean? Who's that from the wrestler?
Vince McMahon.
Yeah. My nigga.
Oh my god. He came up to John Cena.
Yeah. My nigga. You know, like he's mocking. That's different. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like what's the dude? Say less. That kid.
Oh,
There's so many videos of him dropping the N-bomb, and no one cares because he fucks with our people, he fucks with our culture. He's not saying it to mock us. You know what I mean? It's like it's
the little kid.
Yeah, bro. I gotta show you that video. It's so funny.
You know what's interesting to me though? I love that. I was kind of hoping we're gonna do a full topic on like race one day and like racist shit and what like we were talking about what you to do. And I want to get Johnny or someone we know that's Asian. I've got a bunch of people I can ask to sit down. We were talking about having the Council of Cultures or no, League of Nations.
The League of Nations.
League of Nations, and discussing like what racist shit is funny and what can you get away with. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
But you know what's weird is like that's such like a thing in black culture where people will say that. But in like Mexican culture, there's not like a must, you know.
No, I don't know. Can you say it?
No, I'm not gonna say it, bro.
Talking about puto?
No, the S one.
What are you talking about?
Nah.
Yeah,
Man,
like nobody
no.
says that casually. Like no Mexican says that to another. Now, what I'll see is like Mexicans and Asian guys throw around the N-bomb like all the time, like saying that to each other, and I'm like, at least with Asians, I'm like, I don't. Y'all are kind of white. Like y'all, I feel like y'all don't get to say it.
Nah, some of my Mexican friends, like I said, they grew up in our neighborhood. They grew up with us. Like, and I feel like you my nigga, so you can say that shit.
Well, no, that's what I was telling Jose, because Jose didn't believe me. Where I was like, bro, you're a minority. Like, you get to say it. And he was like, no, I don't.
It's not just because you're a minority.
It's not just because of your race. It's not just because of your race.
If you grew up, and you'll see that a lot. It's especially like growing up where you're from. If you grew up saying it, and they moved, and then they said it somewhere else. There's fucking tension because
it's
they're
a
like,
whole
who
new
the fuck is
environment.
this guy that just moved in here and starts calling us the N-word? I grew up with that. Like, I had a lot of, I mean, in football, you heard it all the time.
Yeah.
And depending on who you're friends with, you would say it.
Because
But you would only say it around those people. Like, I wouldn't walk up to, like, one of my white friends and be like, what's up, my...
So I give you a pass, right? And then you say it to another dude, another black dude, right? He wants to beat your ass. It's not my position to fight him over your right to call him that.
Right.
You need to earn his respect.
Well,
you know, you just can't say it. It's like, and then like there's so many Mexican dudes that I know that say it. Mexican Mike, Mexican what's his like Mark, Marquez, like that. That's because they fuck with us. Like, you can tell they fuck with our culture.
Well, you know what's interesting too is like, I don't have a lot of white friends. I just don't. I don't know. And I had a girl I was talking to one time where I was like talking about my friends, and she was like, "Do you have any white guy friends?" I was like, "Nah." And she goes, "Why?" I was like, "The fuck?" And it's one of those things where when I thought about it, I was like, the people who've been nicest to me were black people and Mexican people. Like, white people were always shitty to me when I was younger and stuff like that. So that's why it's like, all of my friends are either black or Mexican. And then I've got my lesbians, and like, that's it. And I've had multiple guys like tell me before, like, you can say it. And I was like, I just don't feel inclined to. Like, I've never like naturally felt like I wanted, like, I've never once thought, yo, what's up, man? Like, I've never thought that at all. And
it's weird. It's like you gotta feel it. Like, you have to understand. Like, you can in the way that there's a certain influx and cadence in the way they say it. You can tell what they mean.
Right.
You know, it's like,
see, and that's the same thing in like a Mexican thing, because everything that we're called, it's out of hate.
Yeah.
They don't come up to me like, "Oh, my spick, what's up, bro?"
That's not a thing.
That doesn't happen.
That's not a thing.
It's not a thing. Or like, hey,
it's hilarious because it's ridiculous to think of.
My beaner. Like, that's not like everything that's said to the Hispanic is to like put them down.
Yeah.
So it's never something that like we start and
and the words have a different historical context.
Yeah.
It's like.
But see, that's what's interesting is you say that because those words meant to put y'all down. But that word was originally a word to refer to slaves. But they took it and like were like, nah, this is our shit now.
Yeah.
And this is about like you, my brother.
Right,
like
right,
that's
right.
it.
Yeah,
and
we don't have something like that. Like, I think, man, the only thing I can think of is like we call everybody primo. Like, we call everyone cousin. Like, hey, what's up, primo? Like, growing up, I literally thought I had the biggest fucking family in history because my dad called everybody primo. Like, what's up, ¿qué pasa, primo? And it was just like, damn, that's your fucking cousin. Like,
Yeah.
we got a lot of family, dog. He's like, oh, no, I just met him, like, blah, blah, blah. That's all we do, hermano or whatever. Like, but we don't have something like that. So everything that I've heard everything, man. I've heard fucking beaner, fucking wetback, spick.
Bro, I didn't hear beaner until I got to college. I was like, what the fuck is that? What does that mean?
Yeah, dude, I heard almost everything.
Nah, but is it universal? Fuck no. Watch your mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was telling everybody.
Watch
It's not
your mouth.
universal.
You know?
And you can say whatever racist shit you want about white people. It's all good.
No,
There's not really much things to say about
Well,
white
anytime
people.
like anyone's
fucking cracker, like
yeah,
really?
like cracker.
that's not offensive. What does that
offensive
even
at all.
mean, bro?
Like Tom Segura did this great stand-up bit where he was like, you can say whatever racist white shit. He was like, what? Guinea, wop, cracker. Like, he was like, nobody gives a shit what the hell
Half
you
the
call
people
them.
don't even
Nobody
know what it
cares.
is.
Yeah, like nobody gives a shit, and it's like I've never taken offense to like anything because it's like I don't care. Like, someone calls me a cracker and I'm like, saltines are delicious.
Yeah. So.
See, I didn't actually know until I think like a couple podcasts ago.
Yeah, we talked about
it
that.
up. But yeah, I think like one thing that people thought, I think when I got to like the workforce and I started working, somebody said that like, why don't you go hang out at Home Depot or something? And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'll find a job faster than you getting unemployment. Like, seriously? Like, what? Okay.
Well, so, this is a fun story. My ex's father, very racist against black people. And one night he got drunk and went on a tangent. And when you've been with someone for a long time, you kind of just, you feel inclined to, like, not speak back to their parents or whatever, because it's kind of like how you feel about yours, right? And he goes on this drunk rant saying all this horrible shit. And he was like, tell me what you think. And I was like, well, all of my friends are either black or Hispanic, and all of them are very successful, own their own businesses, striving to do their own businesses. Meanwhile, you're a truck driver. So, I didn't say that last part. But in my head, I was like, meanwhile, you're a truck driver. You're talking all this shit just because of your insecurities. In my head, I'm like, what? Are you scared they're going to fuck your wife better than you? Like, what exactly? I do not understand racism.
I don't understand
It's
it,
the
dude.
funniest shit in the
It's
world
so
to me.
stupid. At this supermarket that I currently work at, I stopped hanging out in the break room.
Was that bad?
Dude, it's so bad. Like, during the protests and stuff.
Did they get mad at you covering up the Trump books with other
No,
books?
no, they don't know about that. Damn. How you gonna put me on? How you gonna expose me?
Expose me.
Expose me. These people. So the thing is, the people that go and set those books is a third-party company.
Yeah.
Like, they literally come in, they put out these books. My partner and I hide the pro-Trump books
Behind
by
other
putting
books.
something else on top.
And you started putting it on social media
On
so much
social
that
media
I
on
started
it.
doing it anytime I was in a Walmart.
Besides that, in the break room, there's so many people that come around. It's so diverse. But once you sit and people start talking to you, so during the protest, the Black Lives Matter protest, I was at.
Yeah.
Ashley and I went.
I was on the one in DeSoto.
We went. He started talking about these protests. He's like, "Oh man, the one in Fort Worth was horrible." I was like, "Which one?" He goes, "The one last night." I'm like, "No, it wasn't." He goes, "Man, those people out there, they were throwing stuff." And I'm like, "No, they weren't." He goes, "How would you know?" I was like,
I was there.
I was there. Like I was marching. And nobody was wearing masks. I'm like, dude, everyone was wearing masks. Everybody either had a gaiter. They were all covering. Like oh well, did you at least go prepared? And people were throwing gas. I'm like, dude, no one threw a gas canister.
Yeah.
No, nobody was violent. Like there was people walking on the sidewalks telling people to get off the sidewalk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and he just didn't know what to say because a lot of people, what they do is they feed on whatever social media or Facebook post or whatever they put on the news that these things were getting violent when they didn't understand that I think half of the people that were going out there smashing windows were probably on the wrong side.
Definitely. Or it was just people who didn't give a fuck about the movement. They're actually just smashed shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Is like racism is like so bizarre to me.
I don't understand it. Like, I legit don't understand.
I'm like, okay, I understand part of it's taught, but it's like, what are you scared of? What are you scared of?
Change.
Are you scared? Are you scared someone's gonna fuck your wife better than you? Are you what are you scared of? That you're weaker? Like what the fuck are you scared of? Like I do not understand that shit just because I was never raised in any environment around that, and it's like. I don't fucking get it. I really don't get it.
I don't.
I don't get how
that's
probably
one of the things in this world that like will never be answered because it's an endless loop of people being raced by the same people that are creating that environment.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why do you say that? Well, my granddaddy said it. Well, what did he say? Well, his granddaddy. And it's just a never-ending loop of telling their kids that someone's literally superior because of the color of their skin, which is
ass backwards.
It's
the amount of melanin
thing ever.
We're all the same thing. We just have different amounts of melanin in our skin. That's it. That's it. And that's the most bizarre shit in the world to me.
It's
like,
so crazy.
Anytime I've ever heard someone say some off-color shit, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what's wrong?
Yeah,
are you okay?
That happened
Do you
a
need
lot.
a hug?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I stopped hanging out in the break room because every time somebody would say shit, I would call them out on it. Like, well, what do you mean by that?
Should.
And they're like, what, bitch? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. What was it Lil Duval said? Make racists catch the fade again?
Yeah,
I like that shit.
I'll wear a hat that says that.
Dude, I'll wear that shit too, like 100%. Because
Yeah.
that's my favorite thing is talking about like people need to stop just saying racism bad and start actively being anti-racist. And it's like, I 100% agree with that shit. Because it's like, unless you're getting called out for your bullshit, like, you ain't going to change.
I feel like it all started like the storyline of Get Out, where like the dude got beat by a black dude in the Olympics, and you're like, oh fuck them people. Like I'm just gonna switch my body to them, and like come on, dude. Like, are you serious?
That's a mix. I think it's got to be jealousy and insecurity. At the end of the
It's
day.
really all it is, man.
Yeah, 100%. Because like nothing else makes sense.
And people, like, especially in contemporary society, they want to be better than people. It's like they desire to be better than people. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
I don't think it's just being better. It's just like they want to be able to look down on you,
On somebody, yeah.
and tell you they're better, even though they're not. Because they put in once they give us the new break room, they put in this giant TV.
Yeah.
And at the time, and this is probably the last time that I ate there. They started talking. The news were on, and they were playing about how they were removing all the names and the statues of these Confederate soldiers.
You mean the losers? Yeah.
And this guy sitting like literally right next to me, and this is where I was just like, "Oh, this dude's fucking weird." He goes, "Oh, look at that, removing history. Those things have been there for hundreds of years." And I looked at him, I was like, "Dude, you know the schools started getting named in this in like the '60s." No, man, they've been named after. I'm like, no. Like, schools and these statues started going down because of everything that was going on at the time to suppress everything that was going on.
You know what's funny is I had an old white man telling me about that, and I'm like, good, I'm glad they're going down. He was like, why? That's the history of this country. And I'm like, so you would think it was okay if Germany had statues of Hitler? He's like, nah, well, that's I'm like, how's it different? How's it different?
I mean, it's just dim-witted to say that, like, they're erasing history. You read a book, you fucking moron.
That's what I'm saying. You don't need a statue to know.
We don't idolize losers whose asses we beat.
I had watched a video where they were talking about monuments and how Civil War articles were being written.
Yeah.
there was a soldier that they had made a statue of, and on the plaque it talked about how good of a sharpshooter he was, and how good of a killsman he was. And I said, why didn't they just write that he killed U.S. citizens? Because that's what it was. Like,
the Confederacy was not the United States of America.
Yeah, like they made this man look so good on paper about how good he was with the gun and how good he was combat.
Yeah.
And they never put who he was fighting against, which was other citizens. Like, and then they put a statue of him because he was a good shot.
Yeah,
just write down who bizarre. He killed, man. They're all Americans.
Yeah,
that might be another podcast for sure. But dude,
racism and Germany, Nazism and stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah. So this was another episode of Taboo Talk. We're very glad we finally had Derek here. We're hopefully going to get him on drastically more times. We appreciate all you guys in the ICB army who is out there. God damn, that ended on a fucking somber note. Besides the darkness of the end of this,
and we're not talking about
darkness.
Yeah. We're talking about a whole different
connotation and whatnot.
If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Go ahead and subscribe to us if you have a YouTube channel. If you don't, go ahead and make a YouTube channel. Subscribe to us there. You can get our content every single time. It'll pop up right on your feed, and we will see you guys next time.